filled with tears. Grandfather saw the tears, but his eyes did not detect the light shining from Benny's soul. He ruminated consolingly. "Well, sonny, you and me and Mother have seen some pretty hard times, but I guess we ain't as bad off as the heathen yet. Got a heap to be thankful for in spite of it all." They reached the edge of town where their tiny brown house stood. Grandmother was waiting for them in the small bedroom where she had lain for several years. "Well, we are back, Mother," called Grandfather cheerfully. A thin, small voice answered from the bed. "Lasted longer today, didn't it?" "Quite a spell, Mother. There was a missionary from Africa tellin' all about the heathens and making a plea for help. Kinder touched our hearts, it did." He laid his worn Bible on the old dresser beside the bed, took off his shiny Sabbath coat, and hung it carefully on a nail behind the door. "Benny and I were sayin' on the way home that we ain't so bad off compared to the Africans." Benny changed his good clothes and went out with Rex. They sat down together in the sunshine outside the door, and Benny felt again the missionary fervor mounting in his heart. "Rex, how'd you like to belong to a little black African boy?" he asked solemnly. Rex blinked and licked his hand, but those words were not in his vocabulary, broad though it was, so he maintained a polite silence while his master talked. The sermon was explained to him, and the wonderful dog seemed almost to understand what Benny said. "So you see," Benny concluded, "you are nearest my heart, so you must go to Africa." They went into the house and answered to Grandfather's call to dinner. But Benny was not hungry for the first time in his 9 years. He passed his cornbread down to Rex, who eagerly swallowed each piece and waited for more. Grandfather's nearly blind eyes did not notice the boy's lack of appetite. A kind woman from the church came in with a little Sabbath delicacy for Grandmother, which she ate in bed. Benny interrupted Grandfather's silent thinking. "Would the Africans like a dog, Gramp?" "What? A dog? No, child. They have more dogs than they need now." Then, peering at the boy's face, he emphasized his remark. "No, Ben, you can't give Rex to 'em." But Rex was nearest Benny's heart, and somehow he must go. The answer came almost at once. He could sell him and send the money. The surly old dog trainer who loved dogs and hated everything else had once asked Benny for how much he would sell his beautiful dog. There was no such thing as a price for Rex, not then. But now he would sell him for $1,000 maybe, or 100. That much money ought to buy a lot of things for the black children who had only poor things. Grandfather did not seem to notice the little boy's unusual quietness as he helped wash their few dishes. As soon as the work was finished, Benny asked permission to go for a walk, and took his cap and hurried away, Rex trotting beside him. They had gone but a few blocks when Benny began to realize what it would mean to give up his pal. He recalled how he had become the happy owner of this beautiful dog. A lady had stopped at their humble little home 2 years ago, lifted a little puppy out of the back seat of her car, and asked Benny if she might let it run about a bit on his grass. She was, she explained, taking it to her mother, who lived in another town, but the motion of the car had made the puppy sick. When she saw how tenderly Benny followed it with his eyes, she decided to leave it with him for a few days, promising to pay him for the care of it. When she returned, Benny gave the little fellow into her hands with such touching reluctance that she suddenly thrust it back into his arms and told him to keep it for his own. He had not seen her since, but her generous gift had filled his 2 years with an unbelievably happy companionship.